Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of a whole new ball game. How's everyone doing today?
Wow, what an intro. You don't even say my name or your own name. I just hope at this point people know who we are. Alex, I'm good, but let me tell you, the weather could be better.
I
Yesterday,
don't want to hear it, Vinny. I don't want to hear it.
okay, well, guess what? I'm going to tell you anyway. So, 2 days ago, unbelievable storm. My backyard, which is I don't have a backyard, but there's an area behind my house that is lower. So,
The backyard.
it's like a valley in the backyard.
Yeah.
And it
So you have a backyard. You just said in the backyard.
No, I don't have a backyard that's technically my property. There's a space that everybody takes their dogs to essentially to go to the bathroom, and it's a valley in what is technically right behind my house, but it's not my property, so it's not my backyard. It's just an open area. But anyways, Alex, it rained really hard. It thunderstormed, which was really weird to happen in January. But I woke up the next morning. It's a puddle. It's an actual no, it's not a puddle. It's a pond back there. Everything is just full of water.
Does
And
Bear swim in it?
Bear does not swim in it because that would be disgusting. And Bear hates the rain more than anything, and he hates it when it's wet, and he won't go to the bathroom when it's wet or when it's raining. So that's the worst when that happens. But it was 68 degrees and sunny that day. But everything was all wet. So it's not like I could go do anything. Bear and I couldn't go to the dog park. It was too wet everywhere. And then today, it's 28 degrees and snowing. It's just been an unbelievable. Now, it didn't really snow much, but it rained a little bit, and it's 30 degrees outside. But what an unbelievable 3 days of weather. And I'm just excited for it to just gradually get a little bit warmer. You don't have to wear your big jacket to go outside and everything. It's nice when you're just wearing a hoodie or whatever, just a long sleeve tee. But yeah, that's what's going on here, Alex.
Yeah, we got about 4 inches here of snow in upstate New York in the last 12 hours or 24 hours. And it's going to be a solid -6 tomorrow.
Yeah, but you know what? You could just move if you really wanted to. You could just move to a warmer place, I suppose.
See, like you
sort
could
of.
just move. You could just move to California or Arizona, where they haven't seen rain in a very long time.
I could agree with that, but also I'm not. If you live in New York, if you live in like upstate New York, whatever, it's going to snow once a week at least. You're fully aware of that when you move there, or you didn't move there. I'm guessing you've lived there your whole life, but you're old enough now. You can get out of there if you really wanted to.
I guess that's true. I guess it's.
That's an absolute fact. The same way it's true that I could leave Tennessee. The same thing. But I'm not expecting the bad weather all the time when I'm here. You are expecting that cold weather, that snow when you're up there.
I guess I am. But we got a great show. PJ Higgins on the podcast today. I had a lot of fun with this one, Vinny.
Yeah, this was good. We were at the facility yesterday, and nobody believed that PJ came on the podcast. So that was a big accomplishment for us. So, this is his.
Why did people not think he would be on?
Nobody thinks he likes talking. So he can hear me right now. So I can't. I'm wondering if he is nodding his head in approval or he's ready to come down here and fight me. But either way, so yeah, everybody was pumped about PJ coming on and sharing his thoughts, giving us some more insight into himself. And I was pumped too when we agreed to live together. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I got to get him on the pod. That's the absolute goal of living together, and we did it. We successfully did it. So my trip out here has officially been successful.
The only win you'll get on this podcast.
Yeah, well, you win and you lose. You can't win them all.
But without further ado, let's get into this interview with PJ. Do you want to introduce him since you're living with him?
Okay, I guess I can. I mean, that was a bit of awkward airtime right there. Anyways, PJ Higgins, Old Dominion alum, Old Dominion University alum, a member of the Chicago Cubs organization. Welcome to the show, everybody. PJ Higgins. In the same room with me, PJ Higgins, Cubs prospect, an absolute superstar. PJ, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Vinnie.
You're welcome. I hope everybody can hear him. He's a soft-spoken guy. He doesn't do too many interviews, but I made him hop on this one. So we'll see how it goes. We're just going to take a ride together and just kind of see how this thing goes, right, Alex?
Take a ride. That's a new one.
Yep, we're just going to take a ride today. That's about it. But you go ahead. I want you to ask the first question, Alex. You get us rolling with PJ.
Well, before we start, I just want to say I'm sorry, PJ, that you have to put up with Vinny every single day. I don't know how you do it in person, and I just want to apologize and I sympathize with you, and I don't know how you do it.
I
So
mean, me and Vinny, we've come a long way. You know, it was a rocky relationship at the beginning, but it's been going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
rocky in what way? Rocky in what way?
What he means by that is he did not like me at all.
I did not like Vinny when I first.
Why didn't you like Vinny?
He just had this little personality that I wasn't a fan of, but hey, we got past it.
But look at us now. Here we are now. We're doing an interview. How exciting. We're in the same hitting group. We lift together. We work out together. You can't get rid of me. It's just I've started to learn some things that he doesn't like that I do, that I try to do better with, such as the dishes or talking to him when he's working out. Either way, we're learning. It's a learning curve. It's year 2 of us living together. I imagine it's going to keep going. We're in a house now this year, though. PJ has his own bedroom this year, which is very exciting.
Rather than sleeping on the couch, so it's tough.
Yeah, last year he slept on the couch, and it was not a comfortable couch. So, I don't know how he really got through that, but he did.
So you said I'm intrigued now. So at first you didn't like the personality that Vinny had. Does he still have that personality that you didn't like to begin with?
No, he's much more. I don't want to call him cocky. He had a lot of confidence when he was at Old Dominion, and I was out. I never played with him at Old Dominion, but I was already out of school and playing some pro ball, and he had a lot of confidence. He had a lot of little arrogance to him, but he's gotten better. I should say that.
Well, thank you. And let's explain PJ a little bit more. So PJ went to Old Dominion, where both of us went. He is with the Chicago Cubs, which is also known as Old Dominion Part 2 when it comes to professional baseball players. But he was, the tip of the spear of Cubs and the Old Dominion connection. That's right? You were the first one?
I was the first one.
He was the first one of 7 that is with the Cubs organization now. So he's the leader of the Old Dominion pack in Chicago. So, PJ, kind of talk about Old Dominion a little bit and what it's, just talk about Old Dominion.
I mean,
Vinny.
Okay, before you answer, Alex doesn't like the talk about question. He doesn't like it when people say expand on this or talk about this. So, okay, to please Alex, because he's the king of questions, PJ, why did you go to Old Dominion? What did you learn from Old Dominion that you carry with you today?
All right, I'll do this. But well, one of the reasons I went to Old Dominion was it was the furthest away from Connecticut of the schools that offered me, and I liked that aspect. And I wanted to get out of the northeast area with Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. So Virginia, didn't know much about it, and a great 3 years there, and made it to a regional my sophomore year. Good group of guys. Still talk with a lot of them. A lot of my best friends are the ones that I met at Old Dominion, and yeah, we had good chemistry. And I go back there every year to hang out with the guys, even though I know no one on the team. But it's always good to go back, see Coach Finwood, and just be around campus.
So out of all the colleges that you applied to, Old Dominion being the furthest one away, what were you looking for in a school? Was it strictly baseball, or was it something else? The location, what kind of the priority list to choose your college?
Well, Old Dominion's biggest recruiting is Virginia Beach. The beach is 20 minutes away, which, as Vinny would know, you rarely go to in your years at Old Dominion.
I think I went to the beach 3 times, 4 times.
you barely go there, but hey, when you hear there's a beach 20 minutes away, you're like, oh, that's good. That's good qualities to have. Obviously, baseball was a big part of it. And their conference with a lot of the schools it was a little bigger school than a lot of schools I was looking at. So that also caught my interest. And I like the way Old Dominion's set up, because you got basically campus is like a square. You got all your classes and stuff like that. So I like the way that was set up in its little community right there. but I didn't know much about Norfolk, but I found out a lot.
Well, yeah.
Found out a lot about Norfolk. But
So was your question a follow-up question, Alex? So your main question is going to be a follow-up there, huh?
Well, that was a question.
Okay, well, whatever. All right, I'll go into it. So you get drafted by the Chicago Cubs. You go into professional baseball. What was the biggest difference that you found from Old Dominion transferring into professional baseball?
well, it's not as team oriented as colleges, as you also know, but it's kind of dull, boring a little bit. A lot of people are into themselves, their individual stats, which at the end of the day, they're trying to prolong their careers, so they kind of have to be. But that was the biggest thing. It was kind of, I mean, I'm not the most outgoing person, so I don't really connect with people right away. It takes a little bit of time. So um, for me to go out of my way like that when everyone's kind of in their own world of trying to do good baseball wise, it's different. It's an adjustment to make for sure. And then for my first year, I was in rookie ball, but then I went to Eugene, Oregon to go play. So that was a little bit different. I was kind of in areas that I wasn't familiar with. Never been to Arizona, never been to Eugene. So I was just kind of adapting to different locations that you're going to play.
Do you feel like it's easier to be more of an inward person or outward person in the game of baseball?
It depends, honestly. I mean, when I was first drafted, I was an infielder. So you don't have to be outgoing as much. But now as a catcher, you kind of have to go a little bit out of your way to communicate with your pitchers and build that chemistry. And a lot of guys look to you as being a leader. And so you got to be a little more outspoken and do a little more than what I would originally do. And obviously, growing up, that causes you to be a little more open to things. So that was a big factor too, switching positions.
One thing about PJ too that he'll never say that everybody who knows him knows is that he's a leader, even though he doesn't want to be necessarily. He talks about how he has a kind of the introvert personality and everything like that, but he's somebody that everybody looks up to, no matter who you are, because he's always, the first one in. He's the first one, he leaves way before me in the morning. He gets home way after me in the afternoon. And he likes to say that's because he's older and has to do more recovery than I do. But I mean, that's just the nature of it. People go out of their way to like learn things from him and talk to him about things, and he's not going to talk about that, but that's just how it is. So even though I just said he's not going to talk about it, I'm going to still ask him, PJ, what do you try to do in terms of leadership? How do you try to essentially live your life, whether that's through baseball or just in life in general?
I mean, my biggest thing is like, obviously treat people with respect. Don't judge people. I mean, my biggest thing is like, you don't know where people come from. You don't know their background. You don't know why they do certain things. You don't know their upbringings and stuff like that. So especially with the Latins. I mean, I went to Dominican to kind of see their culture, and that's an eye opener for sure. So going over there, it kind of gives you a little different perspective because they come over to the United States and they have no clue what's going on. And I went over Dominican, and I had no clue what was going on over there, and I felt uncomfortable at times, so I can only imagine. So try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and the way I work is, I mean, I don't want to have any regrets when I'm done playing. So that's why I work the way I work, and then I can look back and be completely fine with my career. So that's just how I go about my business. That's not me trying to be a leader, or this is how I want to go about my work, And if that comes off as a leader, that's awesome. And I'm more than happy. I mean, me and Vinnie talk about hitting and baseball and all the time, And I never played with him at ODU, so it's kind of interesting, different levels that we've been at, and I try to help him out the best I can when he asks questions, and he helps me out too. It's not just one way because I'm older, he does help me out too. So,
what would you say is the most important thing that keeps you going? Is it just to gain more knowledge? Is it the constant grind that baseball is? What would you say, like maybe the one thing is that keeps you going every day?
the fact that I feel like I'm getting better each year. You know, like they always talk about you hit your peak at whatever age, you stop getting better. I mean, maybe physically and baseball wise, mechanically, I'm not getting better, but mentally, I think I'm getting smarter in terms of the game calling, stuff like that. Because the higher levels you go, you learn more every year. And if you could use your skills, because everybody's good. Like everybody's good at AAA, big leagues, AA, even high A. Everybody's got ability, but it's how do you separate yourself and how do you continue to work and at a high level, and that starts coming with knowledge of things and using your head more than just your ability, you know. So that's kind of my thing. Is like I feel like I take steps each year. They may not be huge steps, but it's a step that I wasn't thinking about the year before, and I think I'm still getting better as a player, and I'm not officially done yet.
So to build off of that, we had Lynn Casper on last show, and he brought up, he came up with your stats because we had told him that we lived together, and you have 20 career minor league home runs, and 10 of them were in 2019. So that's a pretty big jump. What do you think was the biggest jump that happened to make that happen?
Well, those PCL balls, they got some juice. I'll tell you that.
PJ got called up to AAA and started lighting the home run charts up.
Yeah, they were going out like nothing. But I mean, when I got the AA to AAA, like my approach to hitting changed. I mean, there's a lot of older guys that are playing AAA too, so your game plan going into those at bats and that knowledge, the reports that you have, that helps you because a lot of those guys stick to those reports, you know. And I started digging in deeper to what we have scouting reports with me myself as a hitter, so that helped too. But yeah, it's like I said, each year you learn different contact points, how my swing path is, and stuff like that. So it's taking bits of the good and also trying to eliminate the bad that you have and implement more good. If that makes sense.
What's your opinion on days off? Now, I'm not saying like the actual baseball days off, but just like the whole year calendar. Like, how do you feel about just taking a day off from trying to get better?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you need to have that. Like, I mean, usually during the season or off season, go golf, kind of clear your mind, go watch some sports. But the way my mind works, it always comes back to how to get better. Because in my situation, I'm not a high prospect. I'm 27, so I'm getting older. You know, it's on that brink of like old, not old, you know. So it's like I continue to think about how to get better, but I'm not stressing over it. You know, it's just little things that I think about, like, oh, okay, this could be helpful towards my game. This could benefit me next year in front of all the coaches and the big leaguers and when spring training coming up. So I think about those things, but you definitely need days off just to clear and just get away from it,
Mm-hmm.
and then get back to it, you know. But I wouldn't say it's a complete day off, especially during the season. It's a good way to get your mind off things, but you always come back to it, especially being a competitor.
Well, as a catcher, you really don't have any days off because you're supposed to be paying attention to kind of what's going on with other hitters and everything like that. So, or catching in the bullpen, depending on what you have to do that day.
They didn't tell you that when they switched you over to catching bullpens.
So,
the game.
like for me, since I'm not a catcher, pretty much all my studying goes into what other pitchers are doing. But for you, you have to study other hitters and your own pitchers to find out how to attack, different guys. So how do you split up your time between defensive studying and offensive studying?
Well, offensive study, you do a lot of visual work with that, like with watching the pitcher during the warm-ups. If he's spiking his curveball constantly, then I'm probably going to lay off that. See where he's throwing his fastball, but then you always get percentages and stuff on scouting reports, as you know. So those percentages help out quick. But I mean, for the defensive side, I probably take more stuff on the defensive side to scouting reports into that because I mean, you're trying to get dudes out. I'm trying to get it back into that dugout as quick as possible. I mean, my knees be hurting it sometimes. So, um, but those scouting reports are big because it's hard to go out there and not have a plan, especially when in AAA. It was really hard, difficult. You didn't have a good plan. That those guys are really good hitters, and it's like you call a really good pitch and they take it easily. Then where do you go from there? So but if you have that plan in your head and you're constantly thinking about it, then it's easier to call a game of where you can adjust off that.
When do you get the most frustrated, or what count do you get the most frustrated in if a player keeps fouling one off?
3-2. 3-2, because it's like, all right, I don't want to walk them, but I don't want to keep expending pitches right now.
Hmm.
So it gets that fine line of where do you like give up on a pitch or try and mix in that breaking ball or try and change the fastball location, even though he's not really on it because he's just fouling pitches off. So you're always afraid in that count because you don't want to walk him. But I mean, it's a frustrating count because generally speaking, you want to just throw a fastball 3-2,
Hmm.
because you don't want that walk, and you're hesitant to throw the breaking ball because if it's just a breaking ball out of the zone, and that's an easy walk, and it's a waste of a pitch. So I mean, that count, I kind of get a little upset with. 2-2 is a tough count too, because you don't want to go to 3-2, and it's a lot of factors in it.
Alex, you're learning a lot today. You're getting a lot of good info. Okay, so when you look back on last year, I could probably make the argument. Now, I don't want to get into anything other than baseball here because obviously plenty of things happened. But really, people in your position are the ones that got screwed the most with spring training stopping short. So PJ had not been sent down yet, right? That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
He was still with the major league club. Towards we were 9-10 days away from the major league clubs breaking for regular season. So he was still, looking to be on the roster, and then everything happens. He gets called to the alternate site. Ended up being on the playoff pool roster, right? As an alternate, I think.
Yeah, just like taxi squad type.
And he was raking in spring training. I mean, the guy was tearing it up. You turn on the TV and he had another hit or two every spring training game, it looked like. But kind of what's your approach going into 2021 now after, in what you played, you had a pretty good year, but you didn't play much.
Yeah, I mean, you always take spring training. For me, this would be I've gone to big league camp 2 years now. I'm still waiting to see if I'm going to big league camp this year. Still waiting on the call, but just you know what to expect. You know kind of what your role is, and it may change this year. I don't know, but I kind of have an idea of what my role is, when I'm going to go in the game, when I'm going to catch, what pitchers I'm going to catch, how many at bats I might get. And spring training is like, it's hard to, because pitchers are still getting ready to go too, So spring training, especially later in the games, you get a lot of relievers that probably early on spring training, they're going to give you a lot of fastballs because they're not fully warmed up, ready to go yet. So then you take advantage there. But yeah, I mean, it's just knowing what to expect. You feel more comfortable around the big leaguers and stuff like that because you've been there for 2 years and whatnot. So that makes it easier going into the expectation isn't there. Like I remember my first big league camp, I didn't know what was going to go on. So I was nervous. I didn't know if they cared about me, if they didn't care about me, if they wanted me to be here, if I was going to be in this person's way, if I did this. So I was kind of like walking on eggshells, And then last year was a little better. It was easier because the expectations weren't running through my head of what to expect, So that was a big factor in it. But yeah, I mean, just going spring training, gotta get ready for the season though, So, but that is the fine line of when you're on the edge of maybe breaking, maybe not. Of like, all right, now in the off season, I gotta get ready. I gotta get prepared a little bit more than your daily big leaguer, because he's got that time to kind of ease into it before the season and I don't have that much time.
Right. Like,
so
technically, spring training is supposed to be about getting ready for the season, but especially for the fringe guys, it's showing up ready to go so you can make it to the season where you want to be.
yeah, so you could show the coaches that you're ready to help them out and do it. You want to impress them. You want to be on the radar, so you got to be a little more ready than usual.
So as you look towards the future, if you were to define what makes you a successful big leaguer, what is that?
I mean, for me, I've always thought being consistent was a big thing in baseball. I'm not telling anybody I'm gonna go out there and hit 3 homers a game, freaking 40 homers a year. Like, that's not me. Like, I know my role as a player, who I am as a player, and being consistent. And the biggest thing for me is if the manager puts me in the lineup, he knows what to expect out of me during that day. I'm not going to be too high. I'm not going to be too low. And I'm just going to give you what I got that day. And if that's consistent and where it is, then there's success in that, I think. I mean, I've had pretty successful seasons in the minor leagues, but I also had my down seasons. But it's just making adjustments. That's what this game's about, is making adjustments and moving forward.
So when you said, you told me about one bad season that you had, that off season, did you go back into spring training the following year in the best shape of your life?
Yeah.
So
it was 2017. I think I hit like 230. And then that off season, I was angry about my season, so I put on probably close to 20 pounds.
There was one year where he showed up back at school and he was just unreal big, like absolutely ripped.
Yeah, I put on an extra 20 pounds from the year before, and then I just worked extremely hard that off season because I had a feeling I was going to repeat where I was the past year. So I wanted to just change my mentality. And up until that point, I mean, I was young. That was only my second full season. And I mean, at that point, I had success throughout college, my first couple of years in pro ball. So I thought I was the man, and then that was a little punch in the face that I needed to help me truly learn how to work, because everyone has the ability. We all have ability, but it's like, how do you work with the ability? And that makes you a better player, in my opinion.
When you say consistent, and you say what consistent is, and it's not hitting 3 home runs every single night, how would you define consistent? Yeah, how would you define consistent?
Consistent, in my opinion, is 3 out of 4 at bats a night. You're gonna get a quality at bat, whether it's a hit, whether it's move a guy over, whether it's hit a sac fly for an RBI. Like, you're gonna get 3 quality at bats a night. I'm not gonna try and go up to a plate and embarrass myself where I just get 3 pitches and I'm swinging and I'm out. I'm a battle, whether it's I get to a 3-2 count, put the pitcher to 10 pitches and I still strike out. That's the quality at bat. Have a 10 pitch at bat. I think that's consistent. Like, consistently going out there and you're going to do something for your team to help them win. Whether it may be a hit, it may be a sacrifice bunt, it may be just moving a guy over in a crucial time. I think that knowing that you could put a guy in a position to help your team win in a crucial point, I think consistently being able to do that helps. So that's just kind of my view on being consistent.
So how come you chose the sport of baseball? Was it because it was something you were naturally good at and then chose to stick with it? Or was it something that you liked? And then, what kind of made you choose baseball?
I mean, from when I was a little kid, I used to pick up my wiffle ball and bat and just throw the ball around. And baseball was always a sport that I loved for whatever reason. My dad even says it. He's like, for whatever reason, baseball is just the sport that you went to. And yeah, man, I've been playing it since I was 4 years old.
So at what point did you know that playing professional baseball was a reality and not just a dream?
Honestly, it was my sophomore year of college. when I started getting some of those questionnaires, some interest from professional teams, and yeah, that's kind of when I was like, okay, I could actually play professionally. But up until that point, honestly, I didn't think too much about it. I was just going out competing and trying to be the best player on the field.
Now, you got drafted in 2015. The next year, the Cubs win the World Series. So,
Go ahead, Alex. We can still hear you.
all right. So the Cubs win the World Series the following year. What was that like? Your first year, full year in the organization during the time the Cubs end the drought and win a World Series.
It was really fun to be around that time in the organization because they knew what they had and you could feel it, and just the idea that they put in everybody's head was that this is a winning organization. We're going to win now, and we're going to win. Like they knew that they were going to win. So just being around that's kind of the mindset that they had throughout the minor leagues with the coaches and everything. So yeah, it was fun to be around. It was fun to watch, and I mean, at that was only my first full season. So it's like I felt a part of it, but I knew I wasn't like fully a part of it.
Right.
You know how they're trying to like say like, oh, it goes all the way top to bottom, But me, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm stoked to be in this organization, but like I still got my goals and dreams to want to do that with them one day. So that's kind of gave me more motivation to work harder, play harder,
Sure.
and all that.
Do you prefer drinking out of glass or plastic cups?
That's a good question. I would say glass.
Good answer.
Yeah, I would say glass.
But you only drink out of plastic here because it's cheaper.
Yeah, we don't have any.
We don't have any glass cups.
We don't have any cups.
All of our cups are these blue solo cups, and I have a coffee mug. That's all we got.
Yeah, that's all we got.
So you both like drinking out of glass better than plastic, but yeah, you don't own any glass cups. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, well, because we're both nomads and don't really have a home for most of the year, so it's hard to get glass.
Yeah, I don't just carry glass cups around with me.
I mean, but if that's what you prefer to drink out of, then I don't know, you find a way to do it.
No.
Listen, you can manage for the meantime of not drinking out of a glass cup for a couple months,
All right, so PJ, I don't know if I talked to you about this segment of the show. It's called Balls and Strikes. Have I talked to you about it before? So we're going to kind of rapid fire questions at you. Not really rapid fire, but if you like the question, it's a strike. And then you answer it. Yeah, so you're like the umpire. Alex and I are both the pitchers. So
you guys are both going to ask me questions.
Yeah, but it's like a game on who wins. So say I go first, which I don't. Alex goes first. Say I go. I ask you a question. You don't like the question. You say ball.
Okay.
Now you can choose to still answer the question, or you can make me feel as bad as possible and move on to the next question.
I gotta say ball or strike and answer the question.
And answer the question. But if it's a strike, you have to answer it because you like the question.
Right.
But then if it's like make it take it. So if I get a strike, I keep going. If I get a ball, then we switch. Whoever gets the strikeout first wins. And I have a prediction about this game on how it's going to go. I'm not going to tell you, but we'll see what happens. So Alex, start us off.
All right. So first question: what would be the last time you surprised yourself?
Alex, by the way, I've gotten a lot of heat about this question that you ask because you ask it every single time. People are tired of hearing about what surprises other people.
All right, then I guess I'll forget.
You still choose to. I mean, you could have thought it was a good question. It's fine. You probably
I'm gonna say ball on that one. No offense, Alex.
No offense, Alex. But when I ask a bad question, it's gonna be like, screw you. Like, get out of here. All right. When was the last time you sung to yourself?
That's strike. And yesterday in the car when I was driving to the facility.
So not today.
Not today. No.
He was mad today after hitting, I think. Were you mad today?
No, I was talking to Peggy.
Oh, which shout out to Aunt Peggy, by the
Yeah,
way.
Auntie Peggy, love her.
Yeah. Okay, so.
I got a question. It's
Oh.
I'm gonna ask a follow-up question. It's what song were you singing?
Great question.
Thank you. I redeem
I
myself.
was singing multiple songs. I was listening to the little top country hits that I got on Spotify.
He's a big country guy. I'm not a huge music guy, so I'm expanding my music.
That was
taste.
nice, like a just relaxing drive,
Yeah.
20-minute drive. So it was constant songs just playing.
I'm a big country guy too, so.
Yeah.
Do you have a secret hunch about how you're going to die?
Oh yeah, no. To answer that question, no, I don't.
Like that one?
That was not something I was expecting. Oh, jeez.
All right, Alex, you're up.
Wow, that was I don't know what to ask after that.
Yeah, that's a tough one to follow.
This is the hardest I've ever seen him laugh. I got you, Alex. I made you break. I made you absolutely break.
That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
What's one TV show that everyone hates that you love?
Strike.
Good for you, Alex.
I would say Friends. Like, people got mixed feelings about that. I feel like a lot of people.
There's a lot of hate for Friends, especially on Twitter.
There is.
People hate
I've seen
Friends.
a lot of people hate Friends, but I've watched it multiple times, all the way through.
Good show to fall asleep to.
Yeah, you can.
I'm one of the people.
Not that that makes it a bad show, everybody. I like the show. Just good show to fall asleep to.
Yeah, I'm one of those people, not a fan. I mean, I don't hate on it. I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna binge watch a show over and over and over again, it's gonna be The Office. Like that.
Yeah, I just finished it last night.
Isn't it the greatest show ever?
For about the 28th, 100th time.
Yeah.
I just repeat back. And Peacock, the new streaming service, doesn't stop it after 3 episodes. So I get like a whole season at night. I wake up and I'm on the end of season 2 when I started season 2 that night.
Mm-hmm. Nothing better than season 5 of The Office. What would be your go-to? What did you say?
Said you're stalling because you don't have another question.
What is it, 1-1 right now?
Yeah. Geez, this is really bad. This is not. I'm just. There's no pitch clock in this game, so
There should be.
yeah. This is the most time, as Vinnie knows, I've taken. I'm trying to come up with a way how to ask this because it's a good question.
You can tell when he doesn't know what he's going to ask because his eyes dart up to the ceiling. He's like, "Yeah, there's a question up there that I'll find."
Yeah, sometimes there is. Who was your favorite? No, if you. Oh, here it is.
Popped into his head.
Yeah. So you make your major league debut. You hit a home run. Who is one broadcaster you would hope or wish would be able to call that home run?
Strike.
That's a pretty good one.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess being in Chicago, you'd have to say, was it Harry Carey? Yeah. Right?
Harry Carey? Yeah.
So being in Chicago, that would be obviously awesome.
Now, would you prefer it to actually be Harry Carey or somebody?
See, I was going to originally say, like, Michael Kay or something because of the Yes Network. I grew up watching the Yes Network, but I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It would be a little more.
You don't have to say a Chicago broadcaster. I mean,
I know, but I feel like that. Because that would, you know, like, it's kind of how I.
Let's just say Len Casper then. We just had him
He's
on.
with the White Sox.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Boog.
Yeah, we had Boog on.
Yeah.
We had Boog on too. So yeah, Boog.
Yeah, he's good.
Boog, we need you to come up with something special for PJ Higgins. We have a nickname for him at the facility. Can't say it on air. So
I
yeah.
can't say that. Don't be saying that.
So Alex, 1 and 2.
All right. Go-to karaoke song.
And for those of you who are listening to this, your phone's not ringing. It's just getting silent because he's thinking of an answer. So don't think your phone's
I'm
ringing.
also trying to think if that's like a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good question, but is it a good question? I don't know right now. Well, I'll give him a strike.
So strikeout.
Yeah, strikeout.
Wow. Well, just to let you know, my prediction was that we'd get our first walk with you answering these questions.
Or maybe I just want to get this over.
Either way.
Hey, I don't really do karaoke, but I did sing.
In the car, you do.
Yeah, to myself. But I did sing. Was it by Jamie Johnson? Was it No Color or something? That song, and I absolutely ruined it.
Do you want to do a little rendition?
No, I don't. I ruined it, so I don't want to do that again. But that wouldn't be a song that I would pick again. I'll tell you that. But I don't know. I don't know what song I would do.
So I think PJ is our first guest that has met Bear the dog, and not only has he met Bear the dog, he gets to live with them.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part? Alex, congrats on your win. You win balls and strikes today. What's your favorite part about Bear the dog?
Yeah, I would say petting them, but I can't say petting them.
Bear's right there on the couch. Right there. So, yeah. So, yeah, what's your favorite part about him? He's getting up. He's coming over to investigate what we're talking about.
I don't know. Just how scared he gets of everything.
He gets
so
scared.
Supposed to be a tough dog.
So scared of everything.
German Shepherd, you're supposed to be a tough dog, but you're not. You know?
Okay,
Just
well.
a soft dog.
So for the last thing that we always ask is 30-second elevator pitch. Where can everybody find you on social media?
No. Vinnie, what is the best position in baseball?
Oh yeah. PJ, what is the best position in baseball? Not the most valuable, not the most important, the best. And there is a correct answer.
I know what he's going to say. You're going to say first base.
Yeah, that's the answer. That's the correct answer.
The best position? I don't know. I want to say catcher, but that's like the most important, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't know if it's the best position because it's kind of a pain.
That's why first base.
Yeah, I mean, first base is cool. I would say one out. If you want to chill and relax, one of the outfield positions would be fun to go play.
All right, Alex, I want you to edit or tell our editing department, which is Alex, go back. When he said the word first base, just cut that out and then say when he goes into the best position in baseball is, just cut that in at that point, and then we'll just edit it and make it seem like he said first base.
I don't think our editing department gets paid enough to do that.
But okay, PJ, where can everybody find you on social media so we can make sure to tag you in everything that we post?
So you want my handles?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Twitter. It's just PJ Higgins 7. I don't know what Instagram is. As you can tell, I'm not a big social media person. So
He did.
I don't have a Facebook anymore.
PJ did tell us to like the Knicks. He was,
I did say that, yeah.
So that may have been his last tweet.
That was my last tweet. Then I stopped tweeting because I didn't like what the guy said below it. So I stopped.
So PJ Higgins 7, right?
I think so. I think that's my Twitter.
We think that's what it is.
I can check.
What does PJ stand for?
Patrick James.
It's a little personal, Alex.
It was a question.
Okay. Well, that's all we have today. I can't believe we actually got him on.
Yeah, it's just PJ Higgins 7.
It's PJ Higgins 7.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Just nice and easy. Hit him with the follow. And PJ, thank you so much for coming on. when I didn't think this was ever going to happen, and I'm so happy that it did. So yes, thank you, PJ.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Vinny.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Might be the last time, but
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
And we snuck you on for one.
yeah, that's it.
Everyone, what a great interview we just had with none other than PJ Higgins. I have to say, I know I seem to say this almost every single time, but this was up there in one of my favorite interviews.
Yeah. Again, I'm just waiting for the day when you say I hated, this interview. This interview sucked. I can't believe we dropped this interview. That's what I'm waiting for you to say one day. But luckily, this far, we haven't really had any interviews that were just absolute stinkers. So good for us, I guess, for choosing people that we know that will interview decently with us. So yeah, this was a good one. Like we said in the podcast, it was my first, or like we said in the interview, this was my first in-person interview, which definitely changed the vibe of the interview for me in a better way. It was way more fun to ask somebody, you can feel their energy. And so it's kind of nice to ask questions to somebody that's actually sitting next to you. So that was
I
good.
can't wait for the day, Vinny. Like, I know it's going to happen eventually, unless this ends much shorter than what we hope that it goes to. But, I can't wait until we host an actual podcast, like, in person.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to get you an extra stool for you to sit on so then we can be in the same camera angle. That's what we're going to have to do. So, because we don't want it to be my head up here, your head down here, or even lower than that. It's not quite the same, but it might be the same height difference. The Aaron Judge, Jose Altuve picture, you know what we need to do? We need to Photoshop that picture with my face and your face on it. And that's what I would like our editing department to do that. Actually, you know what? Our other editing department will do that. So that'll be very exciting.
Like, I don't know if most people know, like, how tall I am.
How short you are would be, I think, is the best way to. It's not how tall you are; it's how short you are.
I'm an optimistic person, okay?
No, I mean,
I'm a glass half full guy.
I don't think saying how short you are is like
Nobody
would ever come up to me. Nobody would ever come up to me and say, "Hey, how short are you?" There is a decent chance somebody would say that to you. There is a decent, probably better than decent chance, like, "Wow, how short are you?" Instead of, "Hey, Alex, how tall are you?" And that's true. I bet you people have said that to you before. I've said that to you before, I think.
That's just so funny because it has happened too many times.
Exactly. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. It's just an absolute fact. And I'm not, I'm not making fun of you about it. It's just the truth, right? I mean, you can't control how short you are. So
no,
I'm not gonna
I can't control how tall I am. Okay,
you absolutely cannot control that. It's just the reason that I laugh at it is because I wasn't expecting it at all when I found out that you were 5'2". And with how much of a reaction I get out of you every time we bring it up, that's why I keep doing it. It's just fun. It's just a fun-loving time. And then
I'm 5'5".
No, you're not. No, you're not. You told me you were 5'4". Come on. I said 5'2".
My license says 5'4", but
yeah, your license is the only thing that's telling the truth. You're not. I mean, come on. No,
see
how
shorter.
Makes you feel any better? I think you know this, but you knew this before I started ribbing on you about your height. I was so short in the 6th grade that I was the lead of. I was Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit because of how short I was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So maybe I would just have a growth spurt later in life.
Yeah, you definitely could. So, but yeah, I was Bilbo Baggins because of my height. So, I mean, you could. I mean, Anthony Davis grew like 8 inches between his senior year of high school and his freshman year of college, I think, and now he's one of the best. He's one of the best players in the NBA, but he's an elite center, power forward.
All right. So I'm coming for you as a 6'4". I'm not lefty, but maybe a right-hand power hitter. So maybe that's next on my to-do list.
You're still just it's asinine that you think you can beat me in a home run derby. That's the word.
I know I can beat you in a home run derby.
It's just like we don't need to talk about this because we don't want to spread lies to our loyal listeners.
I'm just telling the truth. But if you're listening to us, be a subscriber and leave that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And then if you are watching us right now on YouTube, thanks for watching us, and be sure to
thank you,
thank
everybody.
you, thank you.
But on
And
the show, we have John Wilson, a new member of the Minnesota Twins organization, went to Old Dominion. He's about to get his degree this upcoming May. We have him on the show. He is one of my closest friends that I've ever had in my life. So it was pretty cool to bring him on the show, let him spread some knowledge. I surprised him with a question about if he's going to get married here soon. So, that was an interesting question to ask. And I know you're not supposed to put people on the spot like that, but another thing that I did in this interview, I said, tell me about it right off the bat. The first thing I said, John,
awful.
I'm working on it.
Awful.
So,
At least you recognize it, though.
Yeah,
I called you out in this one.
Yeah, whatever. Things happen. That's just whatever. So, everybody, you go have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
See you Monday, everyone. Thanks for watching.